Welcome back to another episode of MD After Dark. I'm Michael Hearn here, as always, with Andre Tanner. So, Dre, how are you doing on this fine Tuesday night?
I don't know. I've been kind of tired today, but I'm doing all right.
Yeah, beginning of the week, but tomorrow's hump day, Wednesday, so we only got 2 more months left until the summer, so yeah. So this college life will be on pause. But anyways, yeah. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. So first of all, got some news today that basically shocked the NBA. Honestly, I don't know if it's shocked anymore because there's like moves happen like this now, like every single day. But it got people's attention. I mean, this would be shocking on any other year, but this year it's just honestly whatever at this point. So the Denver Nuggets fired head coach Michael Malone, and also they fired their GM Calvin Booth. So they just fired them earlier today, and apparently they fired him because of disagreements
In the locker
between.
room, right?
Yeah, okay, apparently that too. Michael Malone did not have control of the locker room, and plus Michael Malone was feuding with the front office as well. So, but
I don't know
yeah,
how you could do that considering how good your team is.
yeah, exactly. And I didn't think it was that bad. Like at first of all, I mean, I thought the locker room was all right, but maybe I'm just a casual or something like that that doesn't know much about the Nuggets. But like, I mean, the Nuggets were like winning in that stuff. I mean, sure, they weren't winning as much as last year, but they're still winning games. But yeah, like I don't know, just sending the nukes right away, like 5 games or 4 or 5 games before the playoffs. Like, man, Dre, what do you have about this firing?
I mean, I think it's stupid, honestly. You could have at least they did it on a day off. At least they didn't do it on the day that they're actually playing. But they should have done it after the season if they were planning on doing that. Because they're a championship contender, and there was no reason for it. Firing their GM, I feel like would be fine because he's not with the players at all times. But your head coach with 4 games left in the regular season and you're in third place? What is the point
Yeah,
of that? At least tell them to take a couple days off or something. It's like, oh yeah, like their next game, the announcers would be like, oh yeah, Michael Malone, um, he had to step away from the team for the last couple games of the regular season due to family manners or something like that, or like personal manners, and then let him come back in the playoffs and try to regroup the entire team.
yeah, I definitely agree with this. I mean, you know how much this affects the team now? Like, it took away the head coach. I know
I mean,
things were like, I know there's like tension in that stuff, but like, you're just saying like to the players is basically like, my thing is like, if you fire head coach, it's basically saying that you forfeit the season or whatever. But that's just
not
my thing.
really. That's a stretch, Michael. That's really a stretch.
Not forfeit the season, but like, it's a big change in the locker room. Or like, I get that they fire head coach just like maybe get like a spark or things like that. That's what the Grizzlies did with firing Taylor Jenkins. Like kind of like a spark to the locker room, I guess. But I don't know. Like whenever like a head coach gets fired, that's like drastic measures in my opinion. But I don't know. Did you have? Did you have something to say, Dre?
I just think that the losing the locker room type of thing is a very broad statement. Like, did you lose Nikola Jokic or did you lose the team in the locker room? That's what I'm trying to think of. And also for Memphis, I don't. I liked Taylor Jenkins. I thought he was a great fit. But again, did they lose the locker room or did they lose the attitude of John Morant and like Desmond Bain? a lot of the players of the Grizzlies have bad attitudes, and I've watched it. I've watched them play a couple times on national TV. They've played the Bulls the past couple of years. Back when I had the channel, I watched every Bulls game. They played the Grizzlies 2 to 3 times a year. It was always so scrappy because of how I thought it was a good fit, the way that he coached and the way that the players played. But obviously, I was wrong. Which we could just both be casuals and think, oh, this is a stupid move, But I guess you never know. I mean, that's just the way you have to look at it.
Yeah, and back to your point, but also my thing is that about the power struggle too. Like, what if Michael Malone and Taylor Jenkins just lost power struggles with the front office? I mean, of course, in the NFL, you saw that with Mike Vrabel and the Titans,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay,
I,
but him getting picked up by the Patriots, great move. He went to the Patriots, right?
yes,
Okay, good. Yeah, coming from his past time in New England, where he literally played, great move by New England. I liked Gerard Mayo, but I don't think he took winning serious enough. But yeah, he only coached for a year, and with that team, what are you gonna do but lose? But in the end, that's a great head coach hiring by New England. That's really off topic, but I just had to incorporate that as well.
yeah. Let's see if a team or a future team can pick up Michael Malone or Taylor Jenkins. Those are two. Those I think are going to be two really good hot coaching guys in the coaching carousel coming up in the summer. But for right now, those two being fired. So now with these moves, with Michael Malone and with Calvin Booth, both booted, what happens with the Nuggets now?
I don't know. I don't really think there's a lot to worry about. Jokic could be a player coach if you want to. He cares at nothing at all. He doesn't give two poops about basketball. He just wants to go home and race his horses in Serbia or whatever country he's from. But I just think, I don't know. It's kind of like I think the Nuggets will be fine. They have good leadership. Jokic is a great leader, other than the fact that he acts like he doesn't care. I think he's just trying to act nonchalant because he's so good. But I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think that they'll be fine. They'll still probably make it to the Western Conference Finals. Heck, maybe even the finals. But yeah, that's really all I got. And then for Taylor Jenkins, a team will pick him up. Everybody, all I'm going to say is, ever since, I'm going to vent on the Bulls real quick. The Bulls, ever since they got rid of Zach LaVine, they've been playing much better, and I think Billy Donovan has been coaching much better because when he coached was he the coach for the Thunder when they went to the finals with Harden and all of them?
I think so, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he got that job after he won the back-to-back national titles in college for Florida. That's the same thing. Florida didn't have a bunch of talented guys. They just had dudes that went out there and hustled, like Joakim Noah and Al Horford. But okay, Al Horford's good, but you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But just the thing is, you don't need amazing coaches in the NBA. You need coaches to fit with your scheme, and that's where I think Memphis went wrong. Oh yeah, the Bulls, they've sucked because of Billy Donovan. That's wrong, but okay. But the Grizzlies, they had a great connection, at least in playing styles and coaching styles, and then you just fire them? I don't know. Who are they going to get next? I don't even know. I don't even know any other. Who knows? Maybe they could just trade coaches. Who cares?
Yeah, it's definitely the NBA has now turned to a league. Your job's not safe anymore. Player or coach. You look at the Timberwolves trading away Carl Anthony Towns to the Knicks. You look at the Mavericks trading away Luka Doncic to the Lakers. And I guess you also look at Taylor Jenkins getting fired for the Grizzlies and now Michael Malone getting fired for the Nuggets. There's no job that is for sure safe unless if you've signed this big gigantic deal off this season. But Anyways, I just want to go through this interesting statistic. So there have been 4 head coaches that have gotten fired after winning a national championship in the
Nick
past.
Nurse, Nick Nurse, Michael Malone, um, Steve Kerr was one that didn't get fired, and who was the? No, I got this. I saw this already. I got this. So 2019's got fired. It was Nick Nurse. 2020's got fired. Frank Vogel. Um, shoot. And then 2021's was Mike Budenholzer. And then 2022 was Steve Kerr, so nothing. 2023 was, don't say it, Michael Malone. And then 2024 was whoever their Celtics head coach is now. Why do I always think it's Brad Stevens? You remember when he was their coach? That was, I like Brad Stevens, especially when he played for, or didn't play. He coached for Butler. I don't know, I've always just liked him as a coach. Now he's their GM, so that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, Brad Stevens was a terrific coach, and now he's doing well in the front office ranks, so that's pretty good. I think the Celtics head coach, Joe Mazzulla was.
Yeah, that guy. Who was
Yeah.
the coach before that? Ime Udoka?
Yes, and now he's on the That's a Rockets.
Yeah,
Rockets.
That's a good fit too.
He was with the Nets, but now he's at the Rockets.
So yeah, I saw that already. I saw that on the internet, obviously.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Like, 4 of their past 6 NBA champion head coaches are fired with their old teams. It's crazy. I mean, Nick Nurse, I guess, because the Raptors started struggling after they lost Kawhi Leonard and them guys. Frank Vogel makes sense. He got the Lakers are struggling too. Mike Budenholzer kind of, but he really should not have gotten. He should not have gotten fired. I think he should just stepped away from the team after his brother sadly got into a car accident. Because I think what happened that playoffs where he got fired, his brother died in a car accident, but he continued to coach. I think he should have just stepped away from the team, probably take a year off and get an interim coach. But sadly, it was very unfortunate they didn't do that, and then he got fired. Which
now you have Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
Who is Mike Budenholzer coaching right now? Is he the Suns coach?
Yes.
That is rough. That is a rough job. KD, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker could not be easy to coach, if I'm being honest.
No, that's probably a nightmare situation in Phoenix. And we'll get to the Suns recently. We'll get to the Suns when we talk about the NBA today, about their game. Oh, boy. We'll get to that one. Trust me, we'll get to that one. I'm just going to say we're just going to have to bring the bell out for that one. It got so bad, I have to screenshot the score of it. So
I'm looking at it right now.
If I have to screenshot the score of the game on my phone, you know it's bad. So yeah, we'll get to that eventually. But yeah, closing statements here. So yeah, Michael Malone and Calvin Booth, the head coach and GM of the Denver Nuggets, got fired today. It would be shocking in any other year, but this year there's just been so many shocking moves that it's not we're not really surprised anymore. We're expecting anything now. Who knows? Who's next? That's basically the question. Who's next?
Probably Billy Donovan.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised at this point. But yeah, I think if the Bulls do that, they're going to be set back for years. Or really? I don't know about you. Well, I don't know. I just think that the Bulls are just playing so much better, and then firing at the end after a really good stretch. I mean, again, like you said, like Billy Donovan finally gets to coach again after getting rid of all their star talent and developing. I would give Donovan one more year, at least, but we'll see. But anyways, Dre, that was the big NBA news today. So do you want to go through the scores itself?
Yeah, I will. So, our first game of the day, the Orlando Magic got a win over the Atlanta Hawks, 119-112. The Magic were led by Paulo Banchero, who had 33 points, 10 rebounds. Wendell Carter with 17 points and 9 rebounds. Franz Wagner with 22 points. and then Contavious Caldwell-Pope with 15. The Hawks were led by Onyeka Okongwu, who had 30 and 14. Very good night for him. Trae Young with 28 and 10, a double-double. Karis LeVert with 13, and Dyson Daniels with 15. Overall, the Magic shot 50% to the 45.5% of the Hawks, 41% to the 34% from three for the Hawks. Then the Hawks shot better, 81.8% from the free throw line to the 67.7% from the free throw line for the Magic. The Magic won the rebounding battle 43 to 41, and then the Magic won the game in the turnover department, 18 to 13. That won them the game. 5 more turnovers, that will win you ball games. Our next game, I'm not even mad at this. The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Bulls 135 to 113. Cavs were led by Darius Garland, who had 28 points. Evan Mobley had 21 and 12. DeAndre Hunter had 17. Ty Jerome had 18. And nobody else had double digits. 3 players had 9. Max Strus, Sam Merrill, and Dean Wade. Then for the Bulls, they had a whole plethora of players score tonight. They also had a lot of players out, though. Patrick Williams had 21 points. Jalen Smith had a double-double of 13 and 10. Matas Buzelis continues his hot streak while playing with 19 points. Javon Carter had 10. Talen Horton-Tucker had 17. And then Zach Collins had 13 rebounds. Shout out to E.J. Liddell and Jameer Young, who were both on two-way contracts, who scored their first NBA. Or no, E.J. Liddell didn't, but Jameer Young got his first NBA basket today, so in his 10 minutes of play. E.J. Liddell did get a bucket when he played for the Pelicans a couple of years back. So, yeah. Michael, I'll just go by twos, so you can go give me your feedback on those first 2 games.
Yeah, so with the Cavs win over the Bulls today, they clinched the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. So that's a big win for the Cavs today. Again, the Cavs, just dominating fashion, just proving why they're one of the best teams in the NBA at full display. The offense plus defense was definitely at work. And then the Pacers, oh boy, that was sloppy, but they got to win. Yeah, did you talk about the Pacers over the Wizards?
No, I said the Magic and the Hawks.
Oh, I spoiled it. My bad. All right, I spoiled the next one. But anyways, the Magic, that's a huge win of the Hawks today because those two are fighting for a division title. I know divisions don't matter in the NBA, but I think it's not only big for the division, but also for playing spots too, since the Magic were 7th and the Hawks were 8th. So with the Magic creating that separation, that'll give them some more breathing room, some much needed breathing room for the play-in to get that 7th seed. Meanwhile, the Hawks, now with that loss, I know that the Bulls lost today, so that's probably good for the Hawks. But with the Hawks losing this one, things are starting to get uncomfortable. So yeah, you definitely, if you're the Hawks, you don't want to lose games, so then you don't get into that 10-9 playing game. So you could try to keep as much space as you can to play that 8-7 game. So yeah, that was kind of a big win for the Magic. Not kind of hurts if you're a Hawks fan with that loss. But anyways, the Magic looked good today. Their defense looked good. Paolo Banchero was great. This Magic team playing in the playoffs, they're not going to be a slouch. They're going to be this dangerous 7 or 8 seed if they get by the play-in.
I agree. Then I guess I'll go over the Pacers and the Wizards. The Pacers got a win in Indiana today, 104-98. Indiana was led by Pascal Siakam, who had 24 points, 10 rebounds. Miles Turner had 14 points, 11 rebounds. Tyrese Haliburton had 22 points. Benedict Mathurin had 17, and Obi Toppin had 12. For the Wizards, they were led by Justin Champagnie, who had 20 points, 13 rebounds. Alex Sarr had 20 points and 12 rebounds. Jordan Poole had 19 points, and Carlson Carrington had 13. Overall, the Wizards shot better at the three-point line and the normal field goal, with 41.8% from the field goal to 38% for the Pacers, and then 28%, which is very bad, to the 25% of the Pacers. That's rough. And then from the free throw line, the Pacers shot 78% to the 73% of the Wizards. The Wizards won the rebounding battle by 1, and they lost the turnover battle by 4, which probably ended up losing them the game. 7 turnovers for the Pacers, 11 for the Wizards. And then the Grizzlies got a big win. By big, I mean by a score margin, 124 to 100 over the Charlotte Hornets. Grizzlies were led by Zach Edey, 17 points, 19 rebounds. And then
Wow.
John Morant with 28 points, Desmond Bane with 19, Jaren Jackson with 14, Santi Aldama and Scottie Pippen with 11 and 10. The Hornets, they had a plethora of scoring as well. They were led by Miles Bridges with 14, Josh Okogie with 12, Tidjane Shalon with 13, Moussa Diabate with 10, and then Nick Smith had 8, Jalen Sims and Seth Curry had 9, Mark Williams had 8. So yeah, and even Taj Gibson got on the scoring with 6. The Hornets shot 45.7% to the 45.2% of the Grizzlies. Grizzlies shot 32.7% from 3 to the 29% from 3 for the Hornets. And the Hornets struggled from the free throw line at 15 of 23 to the 84.6% from the Grizzlies at 22 for 26. Grizzlies dominated the rebounds, I assume because of Zach Edey, 52 to 38. And they lost, or no, they won the turnover battle, 15 to 13. The Hornets had 15 turnovers. So yeah. Michael, anything from those two games?
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier by mistake, is that the Pacers, yeah, it looked ugly today, but they got the win. That's all they need. So with that win for the Pacers, that means the Bucks cannot get the 4 seed anymore. They're knocked out of that. The Bucks are either gonna get the Bucks are either gonna get the 5 or 6 seed. But also at that win, and then another result we'll talk about, the Pacers are still alive at the 3 seed as well. So it was ugly, but they got a must-win win, a one that they had to win over the Wizards, and then the Grizzlies. Yeah, they're in that 5 through 8 slaughterhouse. So any win is a good win. So they went to Charlotte, took care of business, did what they had to do, got out. So good job for Memphis. And then the Hornets did their job by losing to increase their draft odds. But even though it's a lottery, but anyways, all the teams I talked about did their jobs. Grizzlies and Pacers both won, and the Wizards and Hornets both lost.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. So the next game, the one that you were leaning to, the Boston Celtics got a win in overtime over the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden, 119-117. The Celtics were led by Kristaps Porzingis with 34 points, Jason Tatum with 32, and then Drew Holiday with 16, Derek White with 14. Jaylen Brown struggled today, only had 6 points in 22 minutes. And then for the Knicks, they were led by Karl-Anthony Towns with 34 points, Jalen Brunson with 27 and 10 assists, Josh Hart with 10 points, 11 rebounds, and OG Anunoby with 13. So, Michael, the streak has ended.
Damn.
The Knicks shot 47.5% of the 46% of the Celtics from the field. The Celtics shot 38.8% from the three-point line and 29% from the three-point line for the Knicks. And the Knicks, if you would have made your free throws, might have won this game. They shot 62.5% from the free throw line to the 80% of the Celtics, but the Knicks did demolish them on the rebounding, 52 to 38, and had 4 less turnovers, and you still don't win. Dang. It's also because the Celtics made 8 more three-pointers, but anyways, our next game is the Battle of the Tank. The Brooklyn Nets get a win at home, 119-114 over the New Orleans Pelicans. The Nets were led by Trendon Watford, former Trailblazer, with 22 points. Nick Claxton with 13. Drew Timme with 16 and 9. And then a lot of guys double digits here. Maxwell Lewis with 12. Tyson Etienne with 11. Dariq Whitehead with 14. And Tosan Evbuowam with 13. And then Reese Beekman had 0 points but 10 assists. So the only player to not put up a substantial score or stat line that played a lot was Zaire Williams, who had 9 points only. So that kind of sucks. And then for the not Hornets, and it was New Orleans Hornets at one point. The New Orleans Pelicans were led by Antonio Reeves and Carlo Medkovic with 17 each. Jose Alvarado with 16. Keon Brooks with 14, and then Jamal Cain with 15. Alfred Payton had 10 assists, and then Bruce Brown and Yves Missi both had 9 points. The Nets shot 49% to the 47% of the Pelicans. I always draw a blank. And then the Nets shot 42.5% to the 36.4% from 3. And then I guess the Nets just played better in almost every aspect. 83% from the free throw line to 77% from the free throw line for the Pelicans. And then I guess the Pelicans did have 2 more rebounds, and the turnovers were won by the Nets, who had 16. That's kind of bad if you're a Pelicans fan with 17 turnovers. So yeah, Michael, do you have anything from that slate?
Yeah, so of course with the Cavs winning today, the Celtics, even though they can't get the 1 seed anymore, that was still a huge win against the Knicks. And the Knicks, they just continue to they can't find ways to win against these top 3 teams in the NBA. They have yet to beat the Thunder, Cavs, and Celtics. They had a great opportunity tonight, and yet they fell short. Yeah, Knicks, it might be rough when you get to the second round, but anyways, the Knicks lost, and the Pacers are still alive for that three spot somehow. But yeah, the Celtics, they will be getting the 2 seed in the NBA playoffs, so I think they're probably okay with that. But yeah, and then of course the Pelicans and Nets. Tank Bowl is always a pleasure, or wait, what's that word? A prestige, or always a. I can't. I'm drawing a blank with the word. It's always an experience. That's not the word I was thinking of, but it's a thesaurus synonym. So experience to watch out for these tank bowls in the NBA. But even though it is lottery based, but yeah. So Celtics get the 2 seed in the East, and then the Knicks can't find ways to win against the best of the best. That is definitely a glaring flaw for this Knicks team entering the playoffs.
Yeah, I saw that too. Just can't win against good teams. You're not going to make it far in the playoffs. But our next game, the Bucks defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves 110 to 103. Giannis Antetokounmpo with 23, 13, and 10, triple double. Kyle Kuzma and Brook Lopez both had 10. And then Bobby Portis in his first game back, 18 and 10. So good to see him back on the court. And then Kevin Porter Jr. with 21 points. So Kevin Porter Jr. has been playing pretty good in the absence of Damian Lillard. And then the Timberwolves were led by Anthony Edwards, who had 25 points, Dante DiVincenzo, who had 24, Naz Reid, who had 17, and Jaden McDaniels with 13. Rudy Gobert had a rough night, 34 minutes, only 6 points and 9 rebounds. Overall, the Bucks shot 47.6% with 46% of the. Why do I keep trying to say the Hornets? The Timberwolves. And then the Bucks shot 33% to the 32% from 3 of the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves only shot 9 free throws, went 8 for 9, but the Bucks 18 for 25 at 72%. And then the Bucks won the rebounding battle and the turnover battle. They won the rebounding battle by 1 and the turnover battle by 2, 13 to 11. And then the Oklahoma City Thunder get their get back on the Los Angeles Lakers, 136 to 120. They were led by free throw merchant Aura Man himself, 42 points from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Jalen Williams with an EN had 26 points. And then Lou Dort had 17, Kaysen Wallace with 11, and Chet Holmgren with 14. And then for the LA Lakers, they were led by LeBron with 28 points. And then Austin Reeves had 24, and Luka had 23. And then Jared Vanderbilt had 12 rebounds, and Dorian Finney-Smith had 12 points. Overall, the Thunder shot 50% from the field to the 46% of the Lakers, 48.6% from 3 for the Thunder to the 45% of the Lakers. And then the Lakers shot 75% from the free throw line to the 70% of the Thunder. Thunder won this game in the turnover department. 6 turnovers to 18 of the Lakers. Oofda. And then 45 rebounds to 44 of the Thunder. The Lakers won that. So, Michael, before we get to the last 2 games, or I guess the last 1 game that's not being played at the moment, do you have anything to add?
So the Bucks, I mean,
Nobody cares. Move on. Sorry.
But what fight and tenacious they showed tonight. So the Bucks, I mean, they were down by like 17 during this game at most. But then the Bucks went on a 34, or actually even more than 17 points. But they went on a 34-3 run, including outscoring the Timberwolves 40-13 in the fourth quarter, and winning by 7, which they were once down by like 17 or more. I think they might have been down by 20, but yeah, just a great fight from the Bucks. I absolutely love it. I mean, this might be more of the Timberwolves choking by only scoring 13 points in the fourth quarter. But anyways, great to see Bobby Portis back. I mean, that's definitely going to be a big locker room boost for the Bucks. And overall, Bucks are going to start to get the reinforcements back, so watch out. But that's just me being a optimistic Bucks fan there. But anyways, I'm now getting live reaction to this Luka Doncic ejection. Yeah, he got ejected today. So, yeah, I heard that's one controversial thing is that Luka got ejected in the fourth quarter. So it turns out he got ejected for talking to a fan. That's very interesting. Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah, so there's a very controversial technical foul ejection that Luka Doncic actually got ejected for, again, talking to a fan. And just live reaction, like, let's see. Yeah, it just mouthed something, got teed up. That was his second technical foul of the game, so that's why he got ejected, because that was his second. But, yeah, very interesting to see Luka Doncic get ejected for just talking to a fan. It must have been a Balkan slur or something like that. I'm not sure, but ref probably noticed it, and they weren't having none of that tonight. But anyways, Thunder, they got their get back, of course, after getting killed at home to the Lakers. Yeah, they took that loss personally, and they definitely put it on. And Shea Gilgeous-Alexander looks so much better tonight than he did Sunday night. So great win for the Thunder, and the Lakers, they're still holding on to that 3 seed for now.
All right, the last game that's not active, the Golden State Warriors won 133-95 on the road in Phoenix. Even though no, they didn't. Never mind. They beat the Suns in every quarter. That's depressing. The Warriors were led by Steph Curry with 25 and 9 rebounds, Brandon Podziemski with 22 points, Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, Pat Spencer, and Kevin Knox all had 10 points. Trace Jackson-Davis had 13. And then nothing else really special. I guess Gui Santos had 9 rebounds, so he was almost at 10. Then for the Suns, they were led by Devin Booker, who had 21 points, Ryan Dunn with 12, as well as Grayson Allen. And then nobody else had double digits for the Suns. That is horrible. Okay, Warriors won in the field goals department, 48% to 40, 37.5% from 3 to the 28% from 3 for the Suns. But the Suns did beat them in the free throws with 87% to 82%. The Warriors destroyed them on the rebounds, 57 to 41, and had less turnovers, 15 to 19. And at the moment, the Spurs and the Clippers are still playing. It's 112 to 97. Clippers are winning with 4.5 minutes to go. So, Michael, if you want to move on to NHL, I would not be opposed.
All right, yeah, we will do that for the moment. Again, like you said, we're going to wait for the Spurs and Clippers to finish up. But looks like the Clippers got that in the bag, but who knows? Magic happens. But anyways, moving on to some NHL action. There's actually a game going on in overtime between the Golden Knights and Avalanche. 20 seconds left. That's very interesting. But if there's a result to that game, we'll get to that game. But anyways, first game here we got is the Sabres shutting out the Hurricanes 3-0. The Sabres, I believe, are they still going or are they eliminated? But I'm not sure. I think the Canadians won, so after the night they're eliminated. But the Sabres are still fighting. The Sabres were led by J.J. Peterka, Tage Thompson, and Alex Tuch, who all scored goals tonight for the Sabres. And then assisting was Ryan McLeod, Jack Quinn, and Bowen Byram. And then in net tonight for the Sabres, a masterclass performance from James Reimer, 33 saves, 33 save attempts, and a shutout performance with a 1 save percentage. So great night for the Sabres. And then nobody scored for the Canes. So their block shots later tonight was Dmitry Orlov, who had 3. And then in net today for the Canes was Pyotr Kochekov, who did not have a good night tonight. 15 saves out of 18 save attempts, allowing 3 goals with an .833 save percentage. So yeah, not the greatest night for Kochekov, but Sabres, they're still fighting. They defeated the Hurricanes 3-0. They didn't hear no bell. I'm gonna see that, and then once again, my floor mate is happy with this one. The Montreal Canadiens have won their 6th straight game. They have defeated the Detroit Red Wings 4-1 today. So now the Canadiens are now 8 points above the New York Rangers, who are the first team out of the playoffs. But anyways, leading the way for the Habs was Josh Anderson, who had a goal and assist today. Brendan Gallagher also had a goal and assist. And then also scoring goals was Cole Caulfield, Stevens Point native. And then Nick Suzuki also had a goal and assist as well. So 3 guys recording each a goal and assist. And then just assisting for the Habs today was Christian Dvorak, Jake Evans, and Mike Matheson. And then in net today, Sam Montembeault had another great performance. My goodness, is Montembeault hot recently on this winning streak that the Canadiens are on. 35 saves out of 36 save attempts, allowing 1 goal, .972 save percentage. So great performance for Montembeault. He continues to be impressive. And then scoring the only goal today for the Red Wings was Dylan Larkin. And then assisting on that goal was Patrick Kane. And then in net tonight was Cam Talbot. He kind of struggled tonight. 17 saves on 19 save attempts, allowing 2 goals with an .895 save percentage. That save percentage basically says, but overall, the Canadiens won their 6th straight, beating the Red Wings 4-1. And then, the Panthers got a big win today over the Maple Leafs, 3-1, as they keep their Atlantic Division hopes alive, or Atlantic Division title hopes alive, that is. The Panthers scoring goals today was Eetu Luostarinen, Carter Verhaeghe, and Gustav Forsling. And then the assisting was Alexander Barkov, Anton Lundell, Brad Marchand. How about that? Brad Marchand recently coming over from the Bruins at the trade deadline. He got an assist today. And then in net today, Sergei Bobrovsky doing Sergei Bobrovsky things. 17 saves, 18 save attempts, allowing 1 goal with a .944 save percentage. Playoff Bob is starting to appear. And then scoring the only goal today was John Tavares. And that goal was unassisted, so no assists. So in net today for the Maple Leafs was Joseph Woll. He actually had a pretty good night tonight. It's just the offense was just not there to help him. 34 saves on the 36 save attempts, allowing 2 goals with a .944 save percentage. So again, good night for Woll. No help from the offense except for Tavares, but Panthers, again, they get a huge win to keep their Atlantic Division title hopes alive, beating the Maple Leafs 3-1. And then this one's just straight up BTA, our next one. The Bruins, they keep fighting despite being out of the playoff picture. They defeat the Devils 7-2. Yeah, BTA. Yeah, so looking at the Bruins, scoring goals to them today were Morgan Geekie, Cole Kopke, Jacob Lacko, Fraser Minton, Casey Middlestat, Michael Callahan, and David Pastrnak. David Pastrnak also had a goal and 2 assists today. And then also assisting for the Bruins today was Vinny Lettieri, Fabian Lysell, Henry Jokaharju, Andrew Peakey, Parker Wotherspoon, and Nikita Zardarov. And then the net today for the Bruins, Jeremy Swayman. He was pretty solid today. 19 saves out of 21 save attempts, allowing 2 goals with a .905 save percentage. So Swayman, solid work. Really didn't have to do much because the offense exploded. Pause. And then looking at the Devils. Anyways, the Devils scoring for them today was Timo Meyer and Stefan Noesen. And then assisting for the Devils was Eric Halla, Nico Hisshire, Daniel Sprong. And then in net today, Jacob Markstrom. Oh boy. 16 saves out of 23 save attempts, allowing 7 goals. Yeah, not a good day for Markstrom at all. And the save percentage, .696.
Oof. Damn.
Yeah, not good for Jacob Markstrom. He had a rough day today. But then, relief for him, Jake Allen in his few action, 2 saves out of 2 save attempts, allowing no goals. So, at least that was a bright spot for the Devils. But otherwise, not a good day to be a New Jersey Devil fan. They lost to the worst team in the Eastern Conference, the Boston Bruins, 7-2. New Jersey, are we going to have to start having issues about you now? Especially with Markstrom, but we'll see if they can fix it. But anyways, moving on, the Blue Jackets defeat the Senators 5-2. The Blue Jackets keep their playoff hopes alive. Looking at the Blue Jackets scoring goals for them today were Justin Danforth, who had a goal and assist today. Matthew Olivier also had a goal and assist. And then scoring goals also were Adam Fantilli, Sean Monahan, Dmitry Voronkov. And then assisting today for the Blue Jackets was Kent Johnson. He had 2 assists today. And then Sean Curley and Eric Goodbranson, Denton Matichuk, Ivan Provorov, and Zach Rowensky all recorded assists today. And then in net today for the Blue Jackets was Elvis Merzlinkins. He had a pretty good day today. 33 saves out of 35 save attempts, allowing 2 goals with a .943 save percentage. And looking at the Senators, scoring goals today was Thomas Chabot, who had a goal and assist today. And then also scoring a goal for the Senators was Fabian Zetterlund. Assisting for the Sens were Drake Batherson, Claude Giroux, David Perron. And then in net today for the Senators was Anton Forsberg. Yeah, he struggled today. 30 saves out of 35 save attempts, allowing 5 goals with an .857 save percentage. So yeah, rough day for Anton Forsberg. The Blue Jackets, they stay alive, beating the Senators 5-2. We'll see if the Blue Jackets can make a run of the Canadiens' money. But anyways, moving on here, the Penguins shut out the Blackhawks. Sorry, Dre. 5-0. I mean, but the Penguins, they are eliminated. But this was basically a tank poll at this point. Both these teams were eliminated entering today. Anyway, looking at the Penguins, leading the way was Kevin Hayes, who had 2 goals for the Pens. Also scoring goals were Sidney Crosby, the legend, Eric Carlson, and Chris Letang. And then assisting today was Noel Acciari, or is it Acciari? I think it might be Acciari. Danton Heinen had 2 assists today. Ville Kovenen, Evgeny Malkin, Rickard Raquel, and Connor Timmins also recorded assists. And then Brian Rust had 2 assists for the Penguins as well. And net today, Tristan Jarry, 26 saves out of 26 save attempts in a shutout performance with a 1 save percentage, of course. Something about Tristan Jarry, he either puts up, he is so inconsistent, puts up the worst goaltending performance you ever seen, and then comes out the next day with a shutout. Interesting. Yeah, Tristan Jarry is an interesting creature, or goaltender. But anyways, leading the way for block shots for the Blackhawks was Artyom Levshinov, the 2nd overall pick in this year's NHL draft. So Levshinov doing well in the block shots department. And then in net tonight for the Blackhawks was Spencer Knight. Not a good night. No pun intended. But anyways, for Spencer Knight, he had 22 saves out of 27 save attempts, allowing 5 goals with the .815 save percentage. So yeah, Knight definitely struggled tonight as the Penguins defeated the Blackhawks 5-0. And then the Predators defeated the Islanders in overtime today, 7-6. Scoring the overtime goal was Fedor Svechkov. Brady Shea and Steven Stamkos assisted on that Svechkov goal for the Predators. Meanwhile, this was a shootout game. Goaltending definitely does not exist in this matchup. Leading the way for the Predators today were Steven Stamkos. He had 2 goals and 2 assists today. What a performance from Stamkos. And then also scoring goals for the Predators today was Michael Bunting, Philip Forsberg. Both each had a goal and assist. And then Michael McCarron, Ryan O'Reilly, and Fedor Shvedkov all recorded goals as well. Svechkov, of course, having that game-winning goal. And then assisting today, Brady Shea had 3 assists today, including assisting on that game winner. Jonathan Marchessault also had 3 assists today. So we had 2 Predators having 3 assists. And then also Luke Evangelista and Nick Blankenberg also assisted for the Preds. And net today was Justus Annunen. Yeah, he struggled today, but the offense had his back. 16 saves out of 22 save attempts, allowing 6 goals, 727 save percentage. Not a good day for Annunen, but luckily for the Predators, the offense showed up today. And then looking at the Islanders offense also showed up. Leading the way for the Isles were Simon Holmstrom. He had 2 goals and 2 assists today. Total 4-point game, same as Steven Stamkos. And then also scoring goals were Anders Lee, Kyle Palmieri, Scott Mayfield, and Maxim Siplakov. Siplakov had a goal and assist. And then assisting for the Isles were Jean-Gabriel Pageau, who had 3 assists today. Great day for him. And then Bo Horvat, and the Pelech, Ryan Pollock, and Alexander Romanov also assisted for the Isles today. In net today, Ilya Sorokin struggled today. 19 saves out of 23 save attempts, allowing 4 goals with an .826 save percentage. Not the greatest day for Sorokin. But Marcus Hogberg also was bad today. 6 saves out of 9 save attempts, allowing 3 goals with a .667 save percentage. So for the Islanders' goaltending unit today, it was not good. But the Predators win a shootout, or they didn't win in a shootout, but they won by a shootout, 7-6, if that makes sense. But Predators win in overtime, 7-6, and a lamp lighting extravaganza, if you want to call it that. And then also in a high-scoring matchup, the Canucks defeat the Stars 6-5. How about this? Scoring the game-winning goal was Kiefer Sherwood. So fun fact about the Canucks: the Canucks were down 3-0 after 2 periods, and then the Canucks would then. Oh yeah, and the Canucks would also be down 2-5, and get this. The Stars had a 5-goal lead with 2 minutes, or with a minute remaining, and the Canucks score 3 goals in 1 minute.
So how did they come back and win if they had a 5-goal lead and they only scored 3?
Or excuse me, the Stars were up 5-2. That's how that happened. The Stars were up 5-2 with a minute remaining, and Aturati scored a goal, and then Suter scored 2 goals in that final minute to go into overtime, and then eventually Kiefer Sherwood scored the game winner. So the Canucks, what a comeback this was. Wow. Talk about a choke job for the Stars. Wow. I read about this. like 3 goals in the final minute. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. This is crazy what the Vancouver Canucks did today. Leading the way for the Canucks today was Pius Suter. He was the one that had those 2 goals late to tie it up. And that was his total of 2 goals. And then rest scoring goals was Adu Roddy. He had a goal and assist. Jake DeBrusk, Kiefer Sherwood, including the game winner goal for Sherwood. And Victor Mancini also recorded goals for the Canucks. Assisting today was Connor Garland. He had 3 of them today. And then Philip Roenick and Quinn Hughes each had 2 assists as well. And then the rest with 1 assist were Linus Karlsson and Marcus Pedersen. And then in net tonight for the Canucks was Thatcher Demko. He did not have the greatest performance tonight. 23 saves out of 27 save attempts, allowing 4 goals with an .852 save percentage. So the offense was able to back up Demko, though. But meanwhile, leading the way for the Stars, scoring goals tonight, were Mikael Granlund. He had a goal and 2 assists tonight. And then Matt Duchene had a goal and assist. And then also scoring goals for the Stars were Maverick Borke and Mason Marchment, Mikko Rantanen. And then assisting was Jamie Berlin with 2 assists. And then also assisting was Wyatt Johnston, Jason Robertson, Thomas Harley, and Esa Lindell. And then in net tonight for the Stars was Casey DeSmith. Yeah, he struggled. 26 saves, 32 save attempts, allowing 6 goals with an .813 save percentage. So another game where it was all offense, but my goodness. Stars blowing a 5-2 lead in the final minute. That's just brutal. Horrible way to lose. And then the Utah Hockey Club BTA to the Seattle Kraken. They won 7-1 today. Wow. The Utah Hockey Club scoring goals today were Mikhail Sergachev as a defenseman having a goal and 2 assists today. Sergachev, have yourself a night. And then Logan Cooley had a goal and assist today. And then Michael Carsone, Nick Schmaltz, Kailer Yamamoto also recorded goals for the hockey club today. And then also assisting were Dylan Gunther. He had 3 assists today. Kevin Stenlund also recorded 2 assists for the hockey club. And then just having 1 assist was Josh Doan, Sean Dursey, and Michael Kesserling. And then in net today for the hockey club, Karel Vejmelka. Another great performance tonight from him. 18 saves on 19 save attempts, allowing 1 goal with a .947 save percentage. And then scoring the only goal for the Kraken today was Jared McCann. And assisting on that goal was Andrei Burakovsky and Vince Dunn. And then in net today, Joey Daccord struggled. 22 saves on 29 save attempts, allowing 7 goals with a .759 save percentage. Daccord, who has been good this year, did not have a good night. And then Victor Ostman, in relief of him, went 12 saves, 12 save attempts, allowing no goals with a 1 save percentage. So the Utah Hockey Club completely decimate this Kraken 7-1. And then just final moments ago, the Avalanche defeat the Golden Knights 3-2 in a shootout. How about that? The Avalanche leading the way were Valerie Nikushkin, Jimmy Vesey, each scored a goal apiece. And then assisting was Charlie Coyle with 2 assists. And then Nathan McKinnon, Miles Wood, all recorded assists for the Avs as well. And net today for the Avs, Scott Wedgwood had 19 saves and 21 save attempts, allowing 2 goals with a .905 save percentage. So good night for Wedgwood. And then for the Golden Knights, scoring goals were William Karlsson and Brady McNabb. And then the only assist tonight was from Riley Smith. And then in net tonight for the Golden Knights was Akira Schmidt. Pretty solid day. 34 saves out of 36 save attempts, allowing 2 goals with a .944 save percentage. So the offense was just not able to back up Schmidt tonight, but the Avalanche win a crucial game 3-2 in a shootout. So Dre, overall thoughts about this heavy NHL day?
Well, obviously the Blackhawks lost. That's not surprising. The Canucks winning, that game's crazy. Utah winning 7-1, that's crazy. I thought the Islanders were better than the Predators. And yeah, but Boston, that's what I'm used to, is them winning. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, and also from the NBA. So the Spurs and Clippers game just finished up. So Dre, would you, or do you want me just to do that one?
you can do that one real quick.
All right, Dre, you get ready for MLB. But meanwhile, the Clippers just defeated the Spurs a moment ago, 122 to 117. So the Clippers were up 18 with 4 minutes to go. The Spurs made a comeback just to fall up 5 points short. So magic did almost happen, I guess. But leading the way for the Clippers today was Ivica Zubac. I was just taking a look at the stat line. I was just amazed by it. 24 points and 20 rebounds. That is a 2020 performance, everybody. How about that? Ivica Zubac, impressive. And then Norman Powell had 25 points for the Clippers as well. James Harden had 21 points, 12 assists, and 9 rebounds. 1 rebound short of a triple-double. So Harden had a great night. And then Derek Jones Jr. had 18 points. And Bogdan Bogdanovic had 19 points off the bench for the Clippers. And then leading the way for the Spurs was Harrison Barnes. He had 24 points for the Spurs. Stephon Castle had 19 points and 8 assists. And off the bench for the Spurs was Keldon Johnson with 12 points. So again, the Clippers defeat the Spurs tonight, 122 to 117. That is official final. So now we move on to the MLB.
Yeah, our first game, the Detroit Tigers get a shutout win over the New York Yankees, 5-0. Tigers were led by Kerry Carpenter, Spencer Torkelson, 2-hit game with a home run, Dylan Dingler and Zach McKinstry, who all had home runs. Tariq Skubal went 6 innings of great pitching, and then Brant Herter got the save, I would assume. I just exited out of that on accident. And then the Yankees were led by Aaron Judge, who had 2 hits. Carlos Carrasco gave up 4 runs in 4 1/3 innings. And Ryan Yarbrough gave up a run in his 1 2/3, but the rest of the bullpen shut down the Tigers. So yeah, another win for Tariq Skubal and a loss for the old Carlos Carrasco. Our next game, if it will load for me, was the White Sox and the Guardians. Oh boy, this was a fun one. A walk-off walk for Nolan Jones. And then Ben Lively went 5 innings of 0-run ball, and then the bullpen gave up 0 runs. And then for the White Sox, they were led by nobody. Nobody gets a shout-out because you put up 0 runs, you get walked off on a walk. Mike Clevenger, bro, how do you walk? You give up a hit and then walk 3 dudes in a row to lose the game. You're a bum. Next game, Miami travels to New York and loses to the Mets 10-5. Francisco Lindor had a home run. Pete Alonso had 4 RBIs. Brandon Nimmo and Starling Marte also had 2 RBIs each. Clay Holmes had 10 strikeouts in 5 1/3 and 4 earned runs. And then Huascar Brazaman gave up a run in his inning. But then the rest of the Mets bullpen shut him down. Then for the Marlins, they were led by Liam Hicks with 3 RBIs and Derek Hill with a 2-run shot. Connor Gillespie gave up 2 runs in 4 innings, but then every one of the players that came in relief gave up at least 1 run. So yeah, not a good day for the Marlins bullpen. Or anything. I think my dog wants in. Anyways, final one of this slate. The St. Louis Cardinals, actually no, I'll do 5 because there's 15 games this day. Today. St. Louis beat Pittsburgh on the road 5-3. St. Louis was led by Victor Scott with 2 RBIs, and then Brendan Donovan, Alec Burleson, and Pedro Pajes all had RBIs. Bro, the Cardinals have 3 different catchers, plus Wilson Contreras. What the heck? And Sonny Gray went 5 innings of 1-run ball, and then Jojo Romero did his best to start selling the game. He went a third of an inning with 2 earned runs, but then the Cardinals brought in Phil Maton, and he was able to stave off the Pirates. And then the Pirates have Alexander Canario, former Cub. They DFA'd him. Brian Reynolds had a home run today. And then Andrew McCutchen and Joey Bart had the RBIs other than him. And then Paul Skeens, rough day. 5 earned runs in 6 innings with 7 strikeouts. And Chase Shugart and Tim Miza in relief gave up 0 runs. And then the final game of the slate, the Blue Jays got a win, 6-1 over the Red Sox. If you can hear my air fryer in the background, don't be alerted, I guess. George Springer had a home run, and Anthony Santander had an RBI, and then Bo Bichette had 3 RBIs. Easton Lucas went 5 1/3 innings with 8 strikeouts and 0 runs, and then Yariel Rodriguez gave up the only earned run for the Red Sox. For the Red Sox, they were led by Cedane Rafaela with an RBI. Garrett Crochet went 5 2/3 innings with 1 earned run and 5 strikeouts. Had 5 hits and 4 walks, too. Not a good day for the guy who just gave a 6-year, $100-something million extension. Zach Kelly gave up 2 earned runs in his inning and 2/3. And then Josh Winchowski went an inning and 2/3, giving up no base runners. So, Michael, Yankees get shut out, White Sox get shut out, Mets win at home, Cardinals win on the road, and Blue Jays win on the road. What do you got?
Yeah, my thinking is how are the Yankees getting shut out like this? Okay, Tarek Skubal pitched. I get that. But even before then, the Yankees are struggling recently. Ever since that sweep of the Brewers, they've only been 3-5 ever since then. So kind of a head scratcher. I think the Yankees I guess they do slump. I mean, are they still using those torpedo bats? Probably, but torpedo bats are not going to help against Tarek Skubal's pitching. I'm just going to say that. But you have credit to the Tigers, and how about that? The Tigers 7-4 ever since getting swept to the Dodgers. Been 7-1 ever since. Spencer Torkelson keeps raking. The Spencer Torkelson comeback has been beautiful. So yeah, good for the Tigers. Yeah, the resurgence has been beautiful. And then the Guardians, yeah, they got it out a win. Emmanuel Clase's 2-0. That's weird. Closers never get wins, but anyways. Yeah, and the White Sox, if your closer is Mike Clevenger, yeah, that's all I got. But I mean, no offense to Mike Clevenger, but he was a former starter turned closer, and yeah, not good for the White Sox fans out there. I'll say that. And the Mets, how about that? They won 6 in a row. Offense is finally popping off, and the pitching was doing great earlier. Now it's the hitting that's starting to go off. How about this? Juan Soto played well good. He had a 2-hit day. Lindor's hitting leadoff home run, or just home runs from the leadoff spot. But yeah, the Mets offense is starting to get after it now. And then how about that? Give credit to the Cardinals. They hit off of Paul Skeens very well today. I mean, I know Skeens still had his 7 strikeouts. I mean, I guess this is a given that no matter what Paul Skeens does, how many runs he allows, he's still going to have his strikeouts. So that's probably why you say bet on the strikeouts all the time. But anyways, I mean, the Cardinals, just give credit. They hit off of Paul Skeens today, and offense showed up today. So good for the Cardinals. And they were previously 1-6 after sweeping the Twins, and now they're back in the winning column. So that's good for the Cardinals. I don't know about the Brewers, but it's good for the Cardinals.
Yeah. The next game of our slate, the Washington Nationals will be going for the sweep tomorrow against the Dodgers as they got a dominant win, 8-2. James Wood, one of the top prospects in the MLB, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. And then Alex Call had an RBI, and Keibert Ruiz had 2 RBIs, who I'm pretty sure they got from the Dodgers in exchange for somebody a while back. And then Brad Lord went 3 innings as a starter, giving up 0 earned runs, but then Orlando Rebalta and Jackson Rutledge gave up an earned run each in the... That makes no sense. Oh, never mind. I guess it does make sense. They both gave up earned runs in their outings. And for the Dodgers, they were led by Enrique Hernandez and Andy Pajes, who both had solo shots. Justin Robleski went 5 innings with 8 earned runs. Oofta. But then no earned runs for the bullpen. The next game, the Angels get a win on the road. The Angels are 7-3. Hey now, what is going on in LA? 2 solid baseball teams. I have something in my mouth, like my throat. I don't know. The Angels were led by Kyron Parrish with a home run and 2 RBIs, and then Luis Renifo and Travis d'Arnaud. He's ancient. Both had RBIs. Kyle Hendricks, former Cub, 5 innings, 2 hits, 4 strikeouts, 0 earned runs. Ben Joyce, rough. 3 earned runs in a third of an inning. I guess the Rays just have his number because they did absolutely nothing else against literally anybody. Then for the Rays, they were led by Junior Caminero, who had a home run. And then Christopher Morel had an RBI, and Cameron Misner had an RBI. Christopher Morel, I miss you. No matter how bad you were at defense and how many times you struck out, you were basically Javier Baez 2.0 without a glove. But I still love you. Please come back. And then Shane Baz went 7 innings of 2-run ball, but then Edwin Uceda gave up an earned run, and Pete Fairbanks got the loss as he gave a run in the 9th. So yeah, our next game is the Phillies on the road losing to the Braves, so they get their 2nd win of the year. Braves were led by Michael Harris, and then Sean Murphy had I think it was a 3-run home run and then RBI later on. So he had a home run, and then Austin Riley and Michael Harris both had RBIs. Chris Sale struggled, 4 2/3 with 5 earned runs, but then the bullpen gave up 0 hits after Chris Sale left the game. So great outing for the Braves bullpen. Then for the Phillies, they were led by Kyle Schwarber with a 3-run homer, and Nick Castellanos, who had 2 RBIs. Okay, I thought I was looking at something wrong, but I was not. Zach Wheeler went 5 1/3 with 5 earned runs, and then Orion Kirkering gave up the leading run, so that ended up he got the loss, and then Tanner Banks gave up an earned run as well. All right, a little bit of a pitching matchup here today. The Kansas City Royals get a win, 2-1 over the Minnesota Twins. The Royals were led by Vinny Pasquantino and Salvador Perez. They both had RBIs. And then Cole Ragans, 11 strikeouts, 1 earned run in 6 innings. 11 of his 18 batters that he got out were strikeouts. That's phenomenal. And then the bullpen, Angel Zerpa, John Schreiber, and Daniel Lynch. Daniel Lynch was struggling to make the roster, but I think they found his role. He went from a starter to a reliever, and then a reliever to a closer, and I think they finally found where he could succeed. So good for him. I always liked him. A little bit of a southpaw. So, and then for the Minnesota Twins, they were led by Harrison Bader, who had the solo RBI. And there was 0 earned runs on the pitching staff for the Twins. So, let's see here. If I could do the math right, in the 4th inning, Pablo Lopez gave up an unearned run, and in the 8th inning, which would have went to Griffin Jacks, gave up an unearned run. So that sucks. Having 0 earned runs and you lose the game. Tells me something about their offense. And in the final game of this slate, the Chicago Cubs get a win over the Texas Rangers 10-6. Wait, hold on. Are the Cubs back? Be honest. The Cubs were led by Dansby Swanson, who had 4 RBIs and a home run. He had a solo shot, a sac fly, and a 2 RBI single. Pete Crow Armstrong also had 2 RBIs. Nico Horner had 2 RBIs, and Seiya Suzuki had 2 RBIs. Shout out to Pete Crow Armstrong getting a 3-hit game. So yeah, people were like, "Oh my God!" People are comparing him to Jackson Chourio and Paul Skeens for best rookie in the NL Central, and he's batting like 100. Well, there you go. There's a 3-hit game with 2 RBIs. Who else? I were comparing him to like Jackson Chourio and a bunch of other outfielders. But yeah, we're 10 games. What are we? We are 14 games into the season, and the Cubs have played 2 more games than everybody else because they played the Dodgers. So be quiet. Jamison Tyone struggled. I mean, not really. 6 innings, 3 earned runs. Julian Merriweather struggled. He went 2/3 of an inning with 2 earned runs. And Porter Hodge had an earned run in his inning in the 3rd. That was BS because Kyle Tucker just whiffed on an outfield fly. So yeah. And then Ryan Presley gets the save. The Rangers were led by Wyatt Langford, who had a home run, and he left due to an undisclosed injury. So we will see if he plays tomorrow. I would assume he would not, because does he bat righty? He bats right-handed. Oh, no, here we go. Wyatt Langford exits game with right side tightness. So that's new information to me. And then, so Kevin Pillar entered the lineup, and he will probably be playing tomorrow in his replacement. Josh Young had an RBI, Jonah Heim had 2 RBIs, and Leonardo Trevez and Marcus Semien had RBIs. Patrick Corbin, I did not know he was on the Rangers. 4 innings, 3 earned runs, and then Jacob Webb, an inning and 3 earned runs. And then the 4 runs that were given up by Chris Martin in the 8th inning were all unearned. So the Cubs, it was an error on Larry Tavares and Josh Young. Both had errors in the 8th inning, which ended up leading to the Cubs getting the win. So thank you guys for sucking at fielding, even though they were like a top 5 team in fielding percentage last year. So yeah, Michael, since there's only 3 games left that aren't being played, what do you got on these last 5?
Yeah, so looking back, I mean, the Nationals, I believe, if I'm right, have they won 4 straight? I think they won 4 straight.
Yeah, they won 4 straight.
They won 4 straight ever since started 1-6. How about that? Talk about improvement for the Nationals. Nice to see that young core starting to come together. I mean, they were kind of doing that last year, but now, like, winning 4 straight, especially against one of the best teams in baseball. Like, should we be concerned about the Dodgers since they lost 3 straight? Nah, they'll be fine. I mean, 3-game losing streaks happen in the MLB all the time, so no. And then the Blue Jays, I mean, they're finally picking up the slack again. I mean, great pitching performance from Easton Lucas. It was just a great pitching matchup overall until the Red Sox bullpen blew it. But Crochet was very good. And then, yeah, the Angels, how about that? 7-3. Like, wow. I mean, I did not see this coming. Imagine if the Angels just like compete for a pennant race at the end of the year. That would be crazy. But yeah, the Angels, they look good. I mean, that young core is definitely starting to come together. And I thought when the Angels got rid of Shohei Ohtani, I thought it would take years for them to get back. But they got a nice young core down there, so good for them. And then the Braves, about time the offense showed up. I mean, they do it against the Phillies too. So, I mean, the Braves can keep slugging like this. I think they'll be fine. They get on a winning streak. They get back to 5-8. I think everything will be fine at Atlanta. But the offense is just got to keep slugging. Offense keeps slugging, they'll be fine. But yeah, hopefully that was just for the Braves. That was just a very bad slump at the beginning here. Plus a tough schedule too. That never helps too. But and then the Royals, they got a good one today. I mean, Twins. Yeah, it's not looking good in Minnesota. I mean, the Bats just went silent today. They've been going silent recently. I mean, looking more about that second half Minnesota Twins team, that team that made that epic collapse. Yeah, not going good in the Twin Cities, but luckily the Royals are starting to turn around. They're 6-5. Honestly, decent vibes in Kansas City. And then the Cubs, Dre, I think sadly the Cubs might be back. I mean, they won 4 straight. That offense is deadly.
No, they haven't. They've won what? 7 of their last 8.
7 of their last 8.
Padres in the series finale.
Yeah, they won 7 of the last 8. I mean, the Cubs are starting to turn on, and the people that overreacted about the Tokyo series, really. I mean, I knew even as a Brewer fan, I knew they played the Dodgers. They're one of the best teams in baseball. The Cubs will be fine, and look at that, they're more than fine. 9-5. Yeah, the Cubs, they sadly might be back. That offense is just great. And plus the bullpen's looking a lot better too. So Dre, got your wish. I think the Cubs are back.
Wait, chat, does that mean the Cubs only have 1 more loss to the Dodgers? That's crazy. So yeah, and then the final 3 games that are inactive, the Brewers get a win over the Rockies. I mean, the Rockies are kind of booty, but that's fine. Christian Yelich had a home run, and William Contreras had a home run, and Bryce Terang. Jackson Chourio had 2 RBIs, and Sal Frelick had 1. Freddie Peralta had 5 innings of 1 earned run ball and 6 strikeouts, and sold my parlay because their pitching coach took him out for no reason. And then the bullpen gave up 0 earned runs. And then the lone run was an absolute nuke by Brenton Doyle. So maybe they're like, oh well. And then Kyle Freeland, he struggled 6 1/3 with 5 earned runs. And then Jimmy Herget gave up 2 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning. So yeah, Rockies, rough place to be at. They did just call up Zach Veen. I will be waiting to watch the home runs that he's absolutely pimping out of Coors Field. Whew,
did you see his first career hit?
What?
Did you see his first career hit?
No.
It was literally just a bunt. Abner Uribe went to field it. They called it a base hit. He beat the throw, but Uribe also had a throwing error, and he reached on second. That's Veen's first career hit. I saw it in person. So if Veen goes on to have a Hall of Fame career, I say, hey, I watched him have his first career hit as a bunt.
That's funny. I hope he's good. He seems like he's got that swagger, and I like it. Our next game, the Diamondbacks did a win at home, 4-3 over the Orioles. The Diamondbacks were led by Corbin Carroll, who had a home run, and then Josh Naylor had 2 RBIs. Merrill Kelly bouncing back with 6 innings of 3-run ball, and the bullpen shut down the Orioles. The Orioles managed to get 3 runs on the starter, with Cedric Mullins at 2 RBIs and Jackson Holliday. Bro needs to keep playing. I pulled a card of him out of a pack, so I hope he keeps playing good. And then Charlie Morton had 5 innings of 4-run ball, and then after that, the bullpen shut down the Diamondbacks, but the damage was already done. Bro, why can't you... On my screen, you can't even see me. But anyways, the next game, the Houston Astros get a 2-1 win over the Mariners in 12 innings. The Astros were led by Cam Smith and Victor Caratini, who both had RBIs. So I wonder if Cam Smith got the go-ahead hit. I could not tell you for sure. But then Taylor Scott gave up the 1 earned run for the Astros, as Framber Valdez had 8 strikeouts in 6 innings, and the bullpen, except for Taylor Scott's 2/3, went ballistic. And then for the Mariners, they were led by Luke Raley, who had an RBI. Luis Castillo went 5 innings with 6 strikeouts, and both the runs that were scored by the Astros were unearned. And just so everybody knows, Miles Mastrobuoni went 0 for 1. Just wanted to let everybody know that. Yeah. And then the next game, another great quality baseball game. The Cincinnati Reds win 1-0. The Reds were led by Jose Trevino, who had an RBI. Not even on a hit. He just had an RBI. And then Nick Lodolo went 6 innings, 0 earned runs, and 3 strikeouts. Dang. That's a great outing. And then for the Giants, they were led by Casey Schmidt, who had 2 RBIs. Is this the guy from lacrosse?
Casey Schmidt?
No, that was the VR guy. Not Jonathan VR, but there's a guy that played for the Timber Rattlers from lacrosse that Chris, Mr. Kenyon, he went and saw them play.
Really?
Cool. Yeah, and he played for the Giants. There's no guy on here that matches up. But Landon Rope, 6 innings of 4 strikeout ball and 1 earned run. Great outing. But that 1 earned run, when your offense can't even score a run, it doesn't even matter. And Hayden Birdsong went 3 innings with no earned runs. And the final game of the night, the Athletics get a big win over the Padres 10-4. And if I'm guessing, since they put up 10 runs, Tyler Soderstrom had to at least have had a home run and an RBI. Oh, that's the Padres. He did not. He had 1 hit, though. J.J. Bleday had a home run and 3 RBIs. Gio Urshela had 3 RBIs. And then Miguel Andujar and Max Muncy both chipped in RBIs. Jeffrey Springs went 6 innings with 3 earned runs and 4 strikeouts, 7 hits. And then the bullpen, that did not include Mason Miller, it was phenomenal. Jose Leclerc, I did not know he was on the Athletics now, but he is. He went an inning. And then for the Padres, they were led by Manny Machado, who had a solo home run. And then Xander Bogaerts, Yuli Gurriel both had RBIs. Dylan Cease, 4 innings, 9 earned runs. And then Yuki Matsui had an earned run in his inning. Dylan Cease, buddy, I'm glad the Cubs decided not to trade for you in the offseason. Which, fun fact, he already played for the Cubs, but they traded him for Jose Quintana, who is now a Brewer.
Yay.
But anyways, that is all for the MLB. And Michael, I do not have any picks for tonight. I will end up posting a TikTok tomorrow.
All right. So, yeah, it's getting late. It's 12:25 a.m. And, yeah, we both got school in the morning. So, that'll do it for us tonight. Michael Hearn, as always. There's Andre Tanner. So, hopefully you all enjoyed this episode of MD After Dark. So, yeah, make sure to subscribe to the podcast if you really like it. And if you want, go follow the TikTok while you're at it as well. We post good stuff on the TikTok as well. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good night, everybody. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Peace out.